Why are so many people so upset about Up's new grow and flow interest rate system? Let's break it down. If you haven't heard, Up introduced a new interest system on the 1st of September. Prior to that, the savings interest rate was 3.85%, and you would get that rate across every single one of your savings accounts. From September 1st, the rates have changed. So, at first, when they announced this change back in, I think it was August, the rate was 4.85% for their grow savers and 1.5% for their flow savers. And then they adjusted that to 4.6% and 1.25%. But the biggest issue is that they've added another hoop or requirement to be able to get that highest interest rate. So, yes, 4.6% at the moment, if you compare it across banks, is a pretty decent interest rate for a savings account. However, to get that interest rate, you have to not withdraw any money from the savings account you want to get that interest rate on at all throughout the entire month. The minute you withdraw money from a savings account, it drops down to the flow rate. It's really only going to benefit people who already have a pretty decent chunk of savings. Someone on Reddit did the math. You would need to have 70% of your money sitting in grow savings accounts. So savings accounts that you do not ever touch, just to break even between all of your bank accounts to earn roughly what you were earning prior to the change. For the sake of easy math, let's say 75%. Let's say your monthly expenses are $5,000, which is a very conservative estimate for a young couple. That means that you would need to have $15,000 sitting in a grow savings account or multiple grow savings accounts that you never touch to be able to just earn the equivalent of 3.85% across all of your accounts. That's a pretty big chunk of change, and that's just to break even to earn the equivalent of 3.85%, which is not that good of an interest rate when you compare it to all the other banks. So if you actually want to be benefiting from the high interest rate in a noticeable way, you really would need 80 to 90% of your money sitting in grow savers, which means if we're using the $5,000 example of expenses, you would need to have $25,000 sitting in a savings account that you can afford to just not ever touch. Because the minute you touch it, even if it's the last day of the month, that means you won't have earned that 4.6% interest on the account that entire month. And this is where the problem lies. So, yes, if you have larger savings, that's amazing. Then you will maybe benefit from this. This isn't going to be terrible for literally every customer ever, but chances are most customers are probably going to be pretty negatively affected by this. And that's why people are moving banks.